All right, Tristan, let's talk about the best team to talk about in the NFC. It's the Dallas Cowboys. I'm sorry, the Jerry Jones Cowboys.
All in.
They opened up at 9.5.
All in.
They went 12-5 last year. They opened up at 9.5 now. But biggest story, really, to me, besides the CD Lamb stuff, and you could talk about that if you want to. I refuse to. He's going to eventually sign to the Cowboys. He has nowhere else to go. Number one,
they can't not sign him.
Yeah, they have to have him. But the offseason in general has been abysmal. I mean, it's just been bad. They lost some really big starters. So Dan Quinn went over to the Commanders to be the head coach. He took like the entire defense with him. And now they've lost all these big-time positional players on defense, which is hurting them. And then they also lost Pollard. But don't worry, Ezekiel Elliott's here. I'm gonna redo my Gabe Davis story like I did last week. Ezekiel Elliott's here. Don't worry, everybody. He's fine. He's still in his prime. He can handle being the workhorse running back in the NFL current day. No problem at all. What in the world are the Dallas Cowboys going to do this season, Tristan?
I am maybe not as excited
downtrodden?
Yeah, I mean, it's not that I'm not downtrodden. I'm going to take the over because I think...
Okay. You just getting burned. Do you just want me to light you up on fire?
I feel like the roster is too good to win only 9 games. And look, let's address one thing too. We used to make fun of him a lot. It would kind of stop because it's obvious. Mike McCarthy's a good football coach. Yes, he has his problems.
Agreed.
But at a certain point, it's like, well, the dude has literally won 10 to 14 games every single career, year. He did it with Favre. He did it with Rodgers. He does it with Dak. Yeah, they kind of collapse in the playoffs. That's not all on McCarthy. Say what you will about him. Say what you will about clock management. The guy can call an offense. We saw last year, he took over play calling duties. We questioned what that would look like. It looked better. The Cowboys looked great with him calling plays. It was one of the best offenses in the league. Dak had the best regular season year of his career. I know they're thin at wide receiver. I'm worried about the offensive line. I think the defense is okay. I know Cowboys fans are upset that they didn't do a lot this offseason, but they couldn't because of the Dak Prescott contract, because of the cap hit. I don't think Cowboys fans would be as upset if it wasn't for Jerry Jones coming out and saying we're going all in and then literally doing nothing. You can't say we're all in and then check. That's what he did. He said, I'm all in. I'll check. Actually, that'll get you thrown out of a poker tournament. Or they'll say, no, you've got to be all in. Your first move is the move that you have to commit to. So I think McCarthy's a good coach. I think they're going to not be as productive as they were last season, but ultimately their roster's too good and their schedule lines up well enough to where there's no way I see them winning only 9 games. I really think 10 is the floor for them. I think they win the division because the division's tighter, but I think they're 10-7, 11-6.
All right. I mean, I'm going to take the over too, but I just want to give you a hard time about it. Now, would it surprise me if they went, if they only won 9 games? No, it wouldn't. Now, if they win any less than 9 games, then I am kind of shocked. But what we're asking here is, by the way, just want to point out, they did have a questionable draft. It was a very weird draft for them. Didn't understand some of those moves. They jumped some people to get other, and I just didn't get it, but whatever. Micah Parsons, Dak Prescott. Micah Parsons is always a beast. Was, is, always will be, in my opinion. And last year, he was terrific. Dak Prescott didn't have a bad season last year. He was okay.
Well, he had a great regular season. It's just, it's weighed unevenly because of the playoff collapse.
Playoffs, right. And all the time, right? So are we going to see again where Micah Parsons and Dak Prescott have to become the 2 cornerstones
Absolutely.
For which this team relies on to make it, to either win a division, get a wild card, get in the playoffs, whatever you want to say? Yes. Is it because of them too?
Yes, 100%. It has to be. It has to be. I mean, they have enough players around. I don't love the running back situation. Some people are saying 5-alarm fire with having Ezekiel Elliott. I'm not that bad, but I'm pretty concerned about it. But it's we're here now, so I guess we'll deal with it. And the wide receiver room's thin. That's why they need to, make CeeDee Lamb happy. They need to go ahead and sign him, sign Micah. Why they haven't re-signed Micah and CeeDee Lamb and then address the Dak situation is beyond me. But I agree with you. Micah and Dak have to be the leaders of this team. Dak has to have a really, really good regular season. Look, this is just over-under of the regular season. We're not talking about what they're going to do in the playoffs. I think they'll probably do what they always do, lose in the playoffs. But I think they'll still win 10 games because the leadership, the team, the core is still there, and it's enough to carry them to 10 wins for me.
I'll say one more thing, and we can move on. While Ezekiel Elliott is the starting running back, which I do not agree with, and I honestly believe that we could see him be out as the number one guy, early in the season, you have Royce Freeman back there.
Yeah.
And I think Royce Freeman could actually step up and become that lead back, that workhorse, and maybe use Zeke in those red zone situations.
I agree.
And try to get him to score touchdowns. All that being said, the reason I'm taking the over is because you answered my question. Micah Parsons, Dak Prescott, they're the cornerstones. Those two guys haven't gone anywhere. They're still going to be there. And I still think that they know how to play football. I don't think they've forgotten this offseason. So with that, I think that takes them well over 9.5 wins.
Worst team, but still good enough to win 10 games.
There you go.